Charlene, can you, I can't, they don't have the information scanned, or, I mean, it's not a thing I can click on in the clerks. Can you see? 2000 CF 014223 AO. Looks like the information would have been filed 4/4/2001. It's just not a link where I can click the document.
Maybe it hasn't been scanned in once everything
That's
is
what I was asking.
converted.
She has access to
Okay.
the real clerk site versus.
Good.
Sure.
Will you scroll down just so I can see if it actually has the birthday? It doesn't have her birthday. What about the complaint? Like the police report?
The only concern is like to not give him. It would have to be a redacted copy, obviously.
Well, how could it be redacted if they're making him prove who the victim is and what her birthday is, and he takes a redacted copy and they.
I thought it was just her birth. It was her date of birth at the time, which would not have her name. It would just have her date of birth. It's not in my. It's not scanned in state's system at all. So I don't have those documents. I have a score sheet, but I don't have. I have a VOP affidavit.
I remember having this last week.
In the state.
Mr. Wayne, can you do me a favor? Can you pull up this case in stat? Because the PD's office was the original attorneys. 2000. Oh, I'm ready. So I don't know if maybe you guys have documents scanned in your system that we don't have.
What's the?
2000
Wait, 1 second.
CF.
Let me pull.
One 14223.
19, you said? What's?
Oh, 2000 CF 14223. Because they were the original attorneys, so they may have something.
1 4
If you don't mind.
2 1 4
223.
2 2 3.
Her age or birthday, it's not in the police report either.
This is for the VOP. This is the, yeah, it's for the VOP. Oh, okay.
I was in high school at the time.
V
High
is
school.
at the.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's on the V, so that's not the actual case.
The only other suggestion I could say is maybe do a public records request to the state attorney's office to get the actual, the third page of the affidavit, the complaint, which would have her contact information. But it's not scanned, again, it's not scanned in, so I can't even print it. I mean, there's a physical file.
And after speaking to my client, he went to the state attorney's office and requested the information, but they wouldn't give it to him
Correct.
because
It's
he's
gonna have to be a
the
public
defendant. But he said that he notarized. Did you do a public records request to get this?
I did it there at the office and she stamped it.
Yeah, he notarized it and did a stamp at the
So
state
what's
attorney's
the
office.
time frame? So if he's released from the jail today,
Right.
how long does Mr. Burr have to go and comply with the registration requirements?
Right away, I would say, because I'm looking at the prior warrants that were issued and that he hasn't been registering.
I think then he is, as the attorney on me, I would say it's probably easiest if they, when he goes, that if they're not gonna let him register, that you get proof that at least he was present.
Right.
And then I can give you the public records request, and maybe you can reach out and see if you can get it
Yeah, see if I
easier
can get it.
than-
I can probably get it for
Correct.
him better than
Correct.
himself. So that's what we'll have to work on today.
So,
As soon as possible.
Sounds like a great day.
Yeah.
All right, so unfortunately, Mr. Akachunas, we're not gonna be able to give you the information that you need to try to get this.
We'll
Issue
try
resolved.
to get that accomplished, Your Honor.
Okay, so at this time, based upon the information that's been provided to the court this morning, I'm not gonna take any action on 19 CF 6200 or 19 CF 3170.
Thank you.
Mr. Burr, obviously make sure that you are in touch with Mr. Akachunas. You document everything that you do to be able to get that information, the people you talked to who told you you need this birthday, everything that you've done to be able to comply. And all the times you go to the sheriff's office or the DMV or whatever it is where you need to report, and who you spoke to, what time you were there, you need to do that. Otherwise, this just is gonna keep happening,
Yes, ma'am,
okay?
I got you.
All right, thank you.
And you already stated the bond was set at $1,500 in this case?
$1,500.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good seeing you.
You as well.
Thanks.
their email address, so. Don't make it easy. Do make it easy. No problem.
Thank you.
We're gonna have you go to court.
Sir, good morning, your name?
JaJuan Bagley.
Sir, you're here in case number 19 CF 7341. You are arrested for possession of cocaine with intent to sell or deliver, possession of cocaine, possession of cannabis with intent to distribute, possession of cannabis less than 20 grams, possession of drug paraphernalia, and resisting officer without violence. I do find probable cause for the offenses. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I'm gonna set your bond at $1,500 on count one. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance on counts 2 through 6, and I'm gonna also place you on pretrial release, sir. Thank you.
So PTR on the first count, Your Honor?
Yes, please. Thank you. Sir, good morning, your name?
Kareem Benefield.
What, Mr. Bass? All right, let's reset Mr. Bass for tomorrow, or when he gets out of the system. You're Mr. Benefield?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, you're here in case number 19 CF 7339. You were arrested for fraudulent use of credit cards. I do find probable cause and will appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to have any contact with Cassandra Delage, and you are not to return to Best Buy at 8350 Orange Blossom Trail. Your bond is $1,000, sir. Thank you. morning, ma'am. Your name?
Jennifer Gregory.
Ms. Gregory, this is case number 19 CF 7335. You were arrested for driving while license suspended with 2 prior convictions. You were also arrested for possession of cannabis less than 20 grams.
Say there's no objection to ROR, Your Honor.
Thank you. At this time, ma'am, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance, which means you won't have to post a monetary bond to be released from the jail. However, I want to warn you, if you come back before the court and you've been driving without a license again, I will revoke the bond and it will be set at none.
Okay.
Okay?
Can I get more of an understanding about what you said? You're releasing me and then the bond, what is that?
Sure. So at this time, I've released you on your own recognizance, which means that based upon your history and your charges, you won't have to pay any money to
Okay.
get out of the jail. You have
Thank
to
you.
appear for your court date.
Yes, ma'am.
Otherwise, they will issue a warrant for your arrest and it won't have a bond on it.
Yes,
And the
ma'am.
other part I was explaining to you is if you come back before the court and you've been driving again without a license, I'm gonna revoke the bond and you won't have one.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Good morning, sir. Your name?
There's Hardaway.
Mr. Hardaway, you were here in case number 19 CF 7335. You were arrested for aggravated assault with a weapon. I do find probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Sir, you can't return to 6218 West Colonial Drive. You're not to have any contact with Roberto Perez Santisteban. Your bond is $2,500 and 19 MM 2847, sir. I'm gonna revoke the bond at this time and that will be set at none. Thank you.
We also have no weapons, Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Hardaway, you're not to possess any weapons while you are out on bond. Good morning, your name?
Ronald Turnski.
Mr. Jarenski, you were here in case number 19 CF 7353. You were arrested for carrying a concealed firearm, grand theft, 3rd degree of a firearm, petty theft, and criminal mischief. I do find probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and I'm going to place you on pretrial release at this time, sir.
We'd ask for no weapons and no contact.
Thank you. Yes, sir, you're not to possess any weapons or firearms while out on bond, and you cannot have any contact with Rodney Hargis.
And for the record, state objection to the PTR.
Okay, thank you. Sir, good morning. Your name?
Cedric Jones.
Mr. Jones, you're here in case number 19 CF 7326. You were arrested for grand theft, 3rd degree. I do find probable cause. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond is $2,500. You're not to return to the Dollar General. And 19 CF 5063, I'm gonna take no action on that case at this time. I'm not revoking your bond on that case.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir. Good morning, your name? Mr. Lennon. You're here in 19 CF 7366. You were arrested for possession of methamphetamine with intent, possession of fentanyl, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause. I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Your bond in count 1 is $15,000. Your bond on count 2 is $150. Your bond on count 3 is $100. And 19 CF 3599, I'm going to revoke the bond at this time, and that will be set at none, sir. Thank you. Good morning, your name?
JaJuan McKinney.
Mr. McKinney, you're here in 19 CF 7367. You were arrested for possession of methamphetamine pursuant to a warrant where probable cause was previously found, sir. I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Your bond is $1,000, and you're not to possess any drugs without a valid prescription, sir. All right, thank you. Sir, good morning, your name?
James MacNaughton.
Mr. MacNaughton, this is 19 CF 7311. You were arrested for possession of methamphetamine. I do find probable cause. I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance at this time, sir. Make sure that your attorney has your correct address so you get notice of your court date, okay? All right, thank you, sir. Sir, your name?
Muller.
You see Mr. Muller? Mr. Muller, you're here in case number 19 CF 7352. You were arrested for driving while license suspended or revoked as a habitual offender and possession of cocaine. I do find probable cause for both of those offenses. I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Your bond on count 1 is $2,500. Your bond on count 2 is $150. I'm not going to take any action at this time on your out on bond case. I'm not going to revoke the bond. But if I see you again in here driving without a driver's license, I'm revoking the bonds and setting them at 0.
Ma'am,
All right?
thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, your name?
Anthony Bernard Partin.
Mr. Partin, this is 19 CF 7118. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant where probable cause was previously found for the offenses of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, shooting or throwing into an occupied vehicle, and aggravated assault with a firearm. I will appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you. At this time, I'm gonna set your bond at $5,000 on count 1, $5,000 on count 2, and I'll stay on the bond on count 3 at $5,000. Case number 19 CF 3505, I'm revoking the bond at this time, and that will be set at none.
We just for no contact with the victims, no weapons or firearms.
Yes, sir, you're not to have any contact with any of the alleged victims in this matter, and you're not to possess any weapons or any firearms.
May I ask why my bond was revoked from the first one? No information was filed on the charges?
Because you're out on bond, and then you allegedly committed a new law offense.
Right, I
Part of
understand
the
that.
conditions of your release.
The first bond, no information was filed on the first charges, though.
Are you saying it doesn't exist? Like, did they not file?
No, they did not
One
file.
moment, Your Honor.
Sure.
19 CF. Anthony Partin. The state has not made a charging decision, that's correct. We haven't dropped the case, it just has not.
Has it been
Right.
over?
Do you understand the distinction, Mr. Partin?
Excuse me?
So in the case that you're out on bond for, they have not dismissed that case or dropped the case. They just haven't made a charging decision. So it's still a pending case. you're still out on bond for that case, and you're not allowed to commit any new law offenses when you're on bond. That's why your bond is revoked. All right, thank you. Good morning, ma'am. Your name?
Simone Ramnerine.
Ma'am, you're here in case number 19 CF 7354. You were arrested for aggravated assault with a motor vehicle and aggravated assault with a weapon. I find probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Your bond on count 1 will be $5,000. Your bond on count 2 will be $5,000. You're not to have any contact with the alleged victim in this case, Jennifer Ryder, and you are not to possess any weapons or any firearms. Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, sir. Your name?
Dan Shaver.
Mr. Shazer, this is case number 19 CF 7312. You were arrested for possession of methamphetamine. I do find probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance, sir, which means you won't have to post any money to get out of the jail. You need to make sure that your attorney has your correct address so that way you get notice of your court date. Do you understand? All right. You also are not allowed to possess or consume any illegal substances while out on bond. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, your name?
Good morning, Henry Stafford, ma'am.
Mr. Stafford, you're here in case number 19 CF 7328. You were arrested for burglary of a conveyance and grand theft third degree pursuant to a warrant where probable cause was previously found. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Your bond on count 1 is $3,500. Your bond on count 2 is $150. And you're not to return to David's trailer, located at 4300 West Colonial Drive. You understand, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. All right. We'll reset Mr. Stolniker. Good morning. Are you Mr. Tackett?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, you're here in case number 19 CF 7344. You were arrested for attempted escape. I do find probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Your bond is $1,000. You also have case number 17 CO 601. It's a failure to appear for soliciting without a permit. Your bond is $100. And those are your cases. Could we resolve the soliciting without a permit?
One moment, Your Honor.
I wonder what the status hearing was.
Just to make sure there's no cost of investigation, Your Honor.
Okay.
I'll do an adjudication, time served.
Okay. Let me just check one thing. It's set for a status hearing and it's a 2017 case, so that.
failed to appear June 6th at arraignment 2017. I don't know if he was arrested on something else, which is what,
Just, yeah, they called, maybe it just had gotten lost. They recalled it up on May 9th. There was pre-trial set on it. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't an issue as to him resolving the case. Okay, Mr. Tackett, do you want to accept the state's offer today regarding the soliciting without a permit case?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I just need you to sign the plea form, please.
how much time does he have? Do we know?
2 days.
Thank you.
Mr. Tackett, did you read the plea form before you signed it, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights that you're giving up?
No, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a United States citizen that this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening in court
No, ma'am.
today? Sir, I'm going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. You're also gonna have to pay court costs. Those are due by May 22nd of 2020. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing, sir. Thank you. Good morning. Are you Mr. Taylor?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, you're here in 19 CF 7340. You were arrested for grand theft, third degree, receiving money from a pawnbroker by false verification, and dealing in stolen property. I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You can't return to Cash America Pawn. You live with Jacqueline?
Not anymore, no.
Okay, all right. All right. I'm gonna order, sir, then you're not to have any contact
Okay.
with Jacqueline?
It's just my sister. It's not,
I know. And I'm gonna stay the bond as to each count. Count 3, 2,500, count 2. Oh, no, I'm sorry, sir, I'm gonna put you on PTR. I saw this over here. I'm gonna place you on pretrial release, okay?
Okay,
Thank you. Good morning, your name?
My name is Desiree Lynn Varner.
Ms. Varner, you're here in case number 13, CF 7493. You failed to appear for your violation of probation hearing on January 18th of 2018. Your bond is currently set at none, and I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you, ma'am.
Okay, is there any way I can get a bond at all?
Well, you'll have to have your attorney file a motion in the court in front of the judge where this will be heard, and they'll have a hearing to determine whether or not.
The reason why I was asking is because I don't live in Florida, and where I was living at currently, I was living with an ex-boyfriend, and I didn't have anywhere to go, so I currently live in Kansas. I've been living in Kansas for a year,
Okay.
so,
Yeah, you'll have to have your attorney file a motion with the trial court.
which would be my public defender?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Good morning, your name?
Brian Waller.
Mr. Waller, you were here in case number 19 CF 7348. You were arrested for possession of MDMA. I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I'm gonna release you on your own recognizance at this time, sir. You need to make sure that your attorneys have your correct address. That way you get notice of your court date and you don't miss court.
Thank
All right?
you.
Otherwise, they're gonna issue a warrant for your arrest.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. Good morning, sir. Your name?
Michael Mason.
Mr. Mason, you're here in case number 19MO988. You were arrested for disorderly conduct and state misdemeanors or resisting officer without violence. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. Is there an offer for Mr. Mason?
Adjudication 3 days.
All right. Can we take care of the out on bond? The permit violation? It's a CO.
4-5. Yes, Your Honor. It'll be the same.
Okay. Mr. Mason, do you want to resolve both your cases this morning?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sign the plea form, please.
I have a appointment for tomorrow. I'll be at a parker, a ticket I received. I seen the ordinance, can I run that too? I've seen the ordinance up in the parker, prison and pen, and I gotta be there tomorrow.
Well, I think that might be the case we're trying to resolve.
Oh, okay. Well,
Okay, let me check
oh,
for you to make sure. Otherwise, because if it's the same case, then you don't have to go.
Okay.
Okay?
On that out on bond case, he did look like have the
Pardon me?
hearing tomorrow.
That's
The
what
out
I'm
on bond
talking about.
case, I think that's, and it is in a pop gun, so I'm gonna guess that that's
Yes.
what he's talking about.
Yeah, I just wanted to double check. But you do see that? Is that number a 7-5 or 4-5 on that case number?
4 or 5.
4 or 5? All right. Yeah, that's correct, Mr. Mason. You won't have to go to that court date tomorrow.
Okay,
All
thank
right?
you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mason, did you read the plea form before you signed it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have any questions about any of the rights you're
No.
giving up?
Oh, I understand it pretty much.
Okay. Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a United States citizen that this
Yeah,
plea will
yeah.
subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication?
No, ma'am.
That would affect your ability to understand what's happening in court today?
No, ma'am.
All right. I'll accept your plea as to both cases, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to is it 2 days? Okay. And 2 on this. Okay, so 1 day on 19 CO 4-5 with credit for 1 day time served. And then in 19 MO 988, I'll sentence you to 3 days with credit for 2 days time served. You'll have to pay court costs, sir, in both cases. Those will be due by May 22nd of 2020. And you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing.
Okay.
All right? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, good morning. Your name?
Tobias Ratliff.
Mr. Ratliff, you're here in case number 19MO989. You were arrested for state misdemeanors or possession of cannabis. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Is there an offer for Mr. Ratliff?
Sorry, adjudication 3 days.
Okay. Mr. Ratliff, did you want to accept the offer?
Did you appoint public defender, Your Honor?
I did. right, Mr. Ratliff, did you read the plea form before you signed it?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights that you're giving up?
No, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you are not a United States citizen that this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening in court today?
No, ma'am.
All right. I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 3 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. You'll have to pay court costs. Those need to be paid by May 22nd of 2020, and you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank
You had an add-on bond case?
Oh, yes, I'll take no action on that case. Thank you. Good morning, sir. Your name?
Good morning.
Excuse me?
Good morning.
Good morning. What's your name?
Salvatore, Capuano.
Sir, you're here in case number 19MO4317. You were arrested for battery. There's probable cause. I understand you live in England, sir? Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yeah, I live in England, yeah.
Okay. Sir, at this time, your bond is gonna be $2,500. You're not to have any contact with the alleged victims in this case, and you are not to return to SeaWorld. Thank you, sir. Good morning, your name?
Crawford.
Ms. Crawford, this is case number 19MM4322. You were arrested for trespassing in a structure or a conveyance. I find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Is there an offer for Ms. Crawford?
There is not, Your Honor. And the concern state has is that I don't know if there was any damage inside the home or not.
Sure, I understand. Okay. Ms. Crawford, at this time, I'm gonna release you on your own recognizance. You need to make sure that your, address is updated with the clerk and with your attorney so that you get notice of your next court date. If you fail to show up, they'll issue a warrant for your arrest, ma'am, okay? You're also not to return to 4732 Church Street. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
And it's the same for the next person.
This is, okay.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir. Your name?
Anthony Galloway, ma'am.
Mr. Galloway, this is 19MM4321. You were arrested for trespass in a structure or a conveyance. I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Your bond is $500, and you're not to return to 4732 Church Street. Good morning, sir. Your name?
Kenny Ray McIntyre.
Mr. McIntyre, you were arrested in 19 MM 496 for trespass on property after warning. I find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Is there an offer for Mr. McIntyre?
Adjudication, 3 days, no return.
Mr. McIntyre, do you want to accept the offer?
What was it again?
An adjudication of guilt, 3 days in the Orange County Jail. You have credit for 2, so you'll be released today.
Okay, yes.
All right, sir. Sign the plea form, please. Mr. McIntyre, did you read the plea form before you signed it?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any questions about any of the rights that you're giving up on the plea form?
No.
Are you on probation?
Excuse me?
Are you on probation?
No.
Okay. Do you understand if you're not a United States citizen that this plea will subject you to deportation? Are you a United States citizen, sir? Were you born in this country?
Excuse me?
Were you born here in the United States?
Yes. in
Okay, where were you
Illinois.
born? Where?
Illinois.
Okay. Have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening in court today?
No, ma'am.
All right. So I'll accept your plea. I'm going to adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 3 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. You will also have to pay court costs. Those need to be paid by May 22nd of 2020. You have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing. Sir, you cannot return to Yang Realty. Do you understand? You can't go back to where you were arrested.
So, yes.
Okay. Thank
So
you,
I'm
sir.
released tomorrow?
Today.
Today?
Mhm. Good morning, sir. Your name?
Christopher Monroe.
Mr. Monroe. You're here in case number 19MM 4310. You were arrested for petty theft with 1 prior conviction. I do find probable cause. I will appoint the public defender. Is there no offer on this case?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay.
Just for no return as well.
Right. All right, so your bond is $500. Thank you.
I'm not sure when this petty theft occurred.
Good morning. Are you Mr. Pittman?
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. This is case number 19MM 4297. You were arrested for trespassing in a structure or conveyance. I do find probable cause. I'll appoint a public defender. Is there an offer for Mr. Pittman?
3 days, no return.
Mr. Pittman, the offer is 3 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days, and you can't go back to the McDonald's. Do you want to accept that?
Yes.
Mr. Pittman, did you read the plea form before you signed it?
Yes.
Okay, do you have any questions about any of the rights that you're giving up?
No.
Are you on probation, sir?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No probation.
Do you understand if you're not a United States citizen that this plea will subject you to deportation?
Oh, yeah, I'm a United States citizen.
Okay. Have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening in court this morning?
No, I don't do drugs and alcohol
Okay.
right now.
All right, sir.
Thank
I will
you.
accept your plea. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 3 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. You can't go back to the McDonald's, 5400 South Kirkman Road. You'll have to pay court costs. Those need to be paid by May 22nd of 2020, so 1 year from today. And you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing. Okay, thank you. Good morning, sir.
Morning, Your Honor.
Are you Mr. Wordley?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, Mr. Worthy is, able.
All right, we'll reset Mr. Wordley. Oh, Mr. Jones?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Jones, you are here for an out-of-county warrant from Broward County for a violation of probation, sir. Your bond is currently set at none, and Broward County was gonna come pick you up, and you'll see a judge when you get there.
And he does have reporting requirements, Your Honor.
Okay, so sir, when you're eventually released from, if you're eventually released from the Broward County Jail, you do have reporting requirements.
Yes, I know that.
Okay, thank you.
I have a hearing tomorrow morning in Broward County.
Okay. Well, they have 72 hours to come pick you up. So I don't know if you're gonna make it or not, but you'll have to let your attorney know that you were here, okay?
Okay, ma'am, thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, are you Mr. Lombardo?
Mr. Lombardo,
All right. Then you must be Mr. Harity. No?
Harry is mental health.
Oh.
I had reset for today.
Okay. What's your name, sir?
Toomey.
Mr. Toomey?
Last
He's here for determination.
Oh, okay. Well, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I don't have a case number. Dexter, do you have a case number? Or does anyone have a case number?
19 MM 3913.
Thank you.
AO.
Yeah, got it. It says that he has a public defender already. Bond was stayed. Bond was revoked in the felony. No, it says to get own attorney. Oh, okay, I'm aware. I read this yesterday, sir. So you want to represent yourself, is that still correct? Or do you want to see if you qualify for the public defender?
Yeah, I want to see if I qualify.
For the public defender, okay. Do you have any source of income?
Not right now. I think I lost my job by now.
Okay. Based upon your testimony, I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and they will be able to assist you with any 33-day motion, sir. Okay? All right. Is your question answered? So you only came here on the 8th?
Yeah.
right? So that wasn't that long ago, so you wouldn't have any motions right now,
All right,
right? But the public defender is now appointed, so they'll be able to monitor your case.
all right.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, so, Mr.
Your
Lombardo.
Honor, on this case, the state has e-filed and I also gave a copy to your JA to present to you of a motion for pretrial detention. We have the original affidavit. State would just request that the evaluation be filed under seal so that that is not in the public's domain from the 2018 case. Based on, I do have the detective present, but then we learned a moment ago that he was not going to be present.
Okay,
He's not coming today. I think based on the facts of the police report and in the motion and based on the information that the doctor found in the eval, I think the defendant should be held at no bond. He is dangerous to the community. Based on the allegation, as there was a witness that he poured a mixture of bleach and water down the throat of a 4-year-old. He then smothered her with a pillow. Based on the information we have, as to date, the victim is at the Children's Hospital in stable condition. I can take testimony from the detective if necessary. She is present today. However, I think the affidavit speaks for itself as well with his evaluation for 2018.
okay. Is Mr. Dublin refusing to come to court?
Mr. Dublin's mental health problem.
Okay.
In addition, I'm sorry, Your Honor, state would ask for, besides the no bond, no contact with any minor children, no contact with the victim's family. It looks like the victim was living with the grandmother anyways, not with him, but that he can't return to that residence either.
Okay. So at this time, I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent Mr. Dublin. I did get a copy of the motion for pretrial detention. I did have a chance to review that. It is facially sufficient. I've reviewed the probable cause affidavit. There is probable cause for both the offenses, which were attempted murder and aggravated child abuse. So at this time, I'm going to grant the motion for pretrial detention. It can be filed in, or for the hearing in the trial court. I will order that he's not to have any contact with the alleged victim. He's not to return to the scene. Ms. Kennedy Swanson, did I miss one of the requests?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, bond is that none. Ms. Kennedy Swanson, did you prepare an order on that motion?
I can go back check with they sent me that copy. Let me see. I'll see if I can.
I just didn't see an order.
If not, I can give one to the clerk in
motion.
one
Okay.
moment.
And then do I have to order that the evaluation be under seal, or is that something that your office does when they file
You
it?
have to order.
Okay, and I will order that the evaluation of Mr. Dublin is to be filed under seal. Ms. Bowen, did you let them know who you're here on?
Yes, I did. She's
Okay.
here.
Okay.
Yes.
So, I don't want to give you all. Do I give
I'm
you
sorry,
all
Mr.
the
Dublin, we have
motion?
the case number. I can modify
The
the.
Dublin case number,
Yes.
the one that I have is 19 AF 612.
That was, I don't know if they had changed it to a CF by the
Okay.
time it got to the clerk's office. 7373. I'll put that on the order right now.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you.
This is that. This is the eval. I'm gonna just have that sorted. I'm gonna put this here. Here's. And then here's Mr. Dublin's stuff. Okay. Is Miss Lee ready to be brought out?
She's right there in the hall.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
Judge Whitney Bone, on behalf of Miss Lee, thank you for addressing this afternoon. There was a issue where we tried to inform Judge Wish's chambers, but I think we missed doing it timely in terms of letting them know that I was in Seminole County and wanted to address the bond. I have spoken to the state. They're in agreement to a $2,500 bond. I can outline for the court also reasons compelling. Okay. Sure. So first of all, Judge, again, I wanted to be heard on this because I wanted to ensure that although Judge Bell had made a probable cause determination already in signing the warrant, that because the court has discretion at initial appearance to set a bond under 94806, that the court utilized that discretion even despite Judge Bell's proclivity perhaps historically to not like bonds to be disturbed at initial appearances. The allegations in this case are a violation of a no contact order. I've gone over the affidavit of violation with the state. I don't know if the court also has a copy and has had a chance to review it. Okay. Even on the face of the allegations, I would ask the court to consider the weight of it in terms of the individual stating that he has decided that it was my client contacting him via 2 missed calls and a phone number, but there's no evidence that she was. Again, I'm not asking the court to make a probable cause determination, but as to the weight. And further, Judge, I contacted Miss Lee's probation officer, Karen Steinberg, who confirmed her conversation with me in an email after we spoke. Miss Lee is in full compliance with all the conditions of her probation. She's in batter's intervention with no abuse. She's done 6 out of the 26 courses. She's participating. She's engaged in it. Her participation in that is obviously ongoing. She's done the mental health evaluation that was recommended or ordered by the court, excuse me. There has been treatment recommended. Ms. Steinberg, on behalf of Orange County Corrections, has stated that obviously she is, by virtue of her employment, not permitted to say that she does not object to the court setting a bond as a policy matter. She did state that if the court did set bond in this case, that she would just ask that a condition be that in addition to the ongoing condition of probation, that Ms. Lee submit to mental health treatment. I have already made arrangements. I filed a notice of appearance as well. I skipped over that, but prior to coming today, I filed a notice of appearance and served it on the state. I have already made arrangements through Ms. Lee's ex-husband, who is the father of her 2 children, who are 5 and 7, who is a source of support in her life, as well as Ms. Lee's sponsor, to get that ball rolling immediately. I've spoken with Ms. Steinberg from probation about it, so we have no problem with that if the court wants to include that. Ms. Steinberg also informed me that, and again, I have the email if the court wants to see it, confirming the conversation. But Ms. Steinberg also informed me that the individual at issue in terms of the victim in the case, who is my client's ex-boyfriend, lives in Tennessee. It's indicated on.
Did you share this with the state, I'm assuming?
I did, yes.
Okay.
But that individual lives in Tennessee. That individual alleges that these missed calls occurred on April 19th. However, he did not contact probation until May 12th. So probation, obviously, like I said, can't take a formal position regarding bond, but did make that known to me, and that is not maybe specifically highlighted in the affidavit of violation of probation, but there is a letter attached to the affidavit of violation. And according to probation, that's when it was received, and I outlined that in the email, which was then confirmed in a responsive email from probation. My client, like I said, has 2 children, aged 5 and 7, of whom she has 50-50 time sharing with her ex-husband, Dr. Kelvin Lee. Dr. Lee, the 2 children are local. Miss Lee has lived in the area for over 3 years now. She has a job. She had just begun working in landscaping and floral. That's her background, and that job is still awaiting her. Her sponsor has ensured that. Her sponsor's name is Anna Martell. Miss Lee was actually in the process of moving in with her sponsor. I know I'm kind of jumping around. It's in the email as well, but the Miss Lee has not had any dirty urine tests. She did a voluntary 12-hour, I forget, it's in my email, Judge. Thank you. Cognitive behavioral changes course. That was done voluntarily. It was not ordered by the court. She has been consistent in reporting to probation. Judge, she has no prior failures to appear. She is not a risk of flight. She has significant ties to the community. She has a job here. She lives here. She would live with Miss Martell upon her release. She was already in the process of moving in. I have that address as well for pretrial services or whomever. It's 1830 Carol Lee Lane, Winter Park, Florida, 32789. Miss Lee, like I said, is 45 years old. She has no criminal history prior to this case. She's not been alleged to violate previously. She's presumed innocent of the violation. Again, I would ask the court to consider the weight of it as being relatively weak. I would also argue that there are reasonable terms of pretrial release which could ensure her appearance in court, but also ensure the integrity of the court system and the safety of individuals in the community. So for all of those reasons, Judge, and I think I've covered everything, and again, under Norris, even though and that's 768 Southern 2nd, 1070. I know the court's familiar with it. Florida Supreme Court 2000. Despite the fact that there was a warrant signed, it doesn't, obviate the court's responsibility here at initial appearance to determine if there are reasonable terms of bond that can be set. She may not be constitutionally entitled per se. I think that's arguable. I think she might be. But under 94806, at least, the court statutorily has discretion to set a bond. And because the state's agreeing to a $2,500 bond, which is what she is capable of posting, I would ask the court grant that bond, please.
Okay. Thank you. That was very thorough. You answered all the questions that I was going to ask you to place on the record in considering exercising discretion to set a bond. State you're in agreement with everything that was presented.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Ms. Bone, I do think that $2,500 bond is appropriate based upon everything that you presented to the court today. I will add the condition that was requested by the probation officer that she's to submit to an evaluation and any recommended
She's done an evaluation. Okay. They recommended psychiatric further evaluation in terms of determining the appropriateness or not of psychotropic medication.
Okay.
I think also in addition to dual diagnosis, treatment related to mental health and substance abuse, she's already participating, like I said, in a 12-step program.
Right.
Like I said, I've spoken with her ex-husband and her sponsor and her probation officer, Amos Lee, and I'm going to assist her in getting a psychiatric evaluation done.
Okay.
Promptly, and also participating in individual therapy that deals with substance abuse and mental health related issues.
Okay. So then I'll just order that she's to continue with any mental health treatment and comply with any recommendations.
Thank you,
that,
Judge.
that may go along with that. I believe that was the only other additional
That was probation's request, yes.
request.
Yes.
So I guess that'll be all.
Okay, thank
All
you
right.
so much
You're
for
welcome.
hearing this, Judge. I
Sure.
appreciate it.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
Here's the initial paperwork. This was just last. Yeah, this is just her old probation order. Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
My name is Mark Stephen Johnston Jr., ma'am.
Mr. Johnston, you are here in case number 19MM4331. You were arrested for trespass on property after warning and criminal mischief. I do find probable cause, and I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you.
There is no offer, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, sir, your bond on count 1 will be $500, and your bond on count 2 is going to be $100. You're not to return to the 7-Eleven at 8910 South Orange Blossom Trail. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, your name, sir?
Jared Champion.
Mr. Champion, this is 19 CF 7368. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant where probable cause was previously found for the offense of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without intent to kill, grand theft of a motor vehicle, criminal mischief, $1,000 or more, and battery, touch, or strike. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Your bond on count 1 is $2,500, your bond on count 2 is $1,000, your bond on count 3 is $500, and your bond on count 4 is $500. You're not to have any contact with the alleged victim in this case, sir, or possess any weapons or any firearms. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Jeffrey Dempsey.
Mr. Dempsey, this is case number 19 CF 7364. You were arrested for possession of methamphetamine. I find probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance, sir. Please make sure that you have a way for your lawyer. Your contact information is updated with the clerk of the court as well as your lawyer so you get notice of your next court date.
Yes, ma'am.
Otherwise, if you miss it, they'll issue a warrant for your arrest.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
O'Neal Goodman.
Mr. Goodman, this is 19 CF 7360. You were arrested for possession of a weapon by a convicted felon, possession of amphetamine, and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause and will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Sir, at this time, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. You need to make sure that your contact information is current with your lawyer and the clerk of the court, so you get notice of your court date. Otherwise, they'll issue a warrant for your arrest if you fail to appear, sir.
Okay.
Okay?
You have no
Yes, ma'am.
weapons as well, Your Honor?
Yes, sir. You're not to possess any weapons or any firearms of any kind. And weapons means any weapon, no pepper spray. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, sir. Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Carl Green.
Mr. Green? Sir, this is case number 19 CF 7363. You were arrested for driving while license suspended with 2 prior convictions and possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause for both offenses. Sir, did you want to hire your own attorney or do you want to see if you qualify for the public defender? Okay. Do you have a job?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How much money do you make every 2 weeks after taxes?
About 400.
400?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have any children or family members that you take care of? Okay, so you do qualify, and I will appoint the public defender to represent you based upon your testimony. Your bond on count 1 is $2,500, and your bond on count 2 is $100. Thank you. Sir, good afternoon. Your name?
Keo Green.
Mr. Green, this is case number 19 CF 7357. You were arrested for trafficking in MDMA greater than 10 grams, less than 200 grams, and resisting officer without violence. I find probable cause. Were you going to hire an attorney, sir, or do you want to see if you qualify for the public defender?
Qualify for public defender.
Okay. Are you working?
Public defender.
Are you working? No. Do you have any source of income? No. Okay. Based upon your testimony, I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you, sir. Your bond on count 1 is going to be $50,000. Your bond on count 2 is $100. Thank you. Good afternoon, your name?
Axel Ortiz.
Mr. Ortiz, this is case number 19 CF 7362. You were arrested for fleeing or attempting to elude a law enforcement officer with a vessel and resisting officer without violence. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you, sir.
They're concerned that it was a bike.
Yeah. So the statute that they cited is 84318, and that's a boat.
No objection to RRRs to count one.
Okay. So there's no probable cause for count one. Sir, you are going to be ROR'd as to that count. All right. Your bond on count two is $500. Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Jamarius Walker.
Mr. Walker, you're here in case number 19 CF 7359. You were arrested for destruction of evidence, possession of drug paraphernalia, and possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. I find probable cause. Sir, are you gonna hire your own attorney, or do you wanna see if you qualify for the public defender?
I'll see, you can.
All right, are you working?
No, ma'am.
And do you have any source of income?
Yes, ma'am. I gotta go back, as soon as I get out, I gotta go back and get my own social security check back turned on.
Got it. How much do you make a month?
It went up. Actually, it had went to like 830 something.
Okay.
830 something a month.
All right. Okay, sir, based upon your testimony, I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. At this time, sir, your bond on count one will be $500, your bond on count two will be $100, and your bond on count three will be $100.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Jeffrey Copeland.
Mr. Copeland, you're here in 19 CT 558. You were arrested for driving while license suspended or revoked. I do find probable cause. You also are here in case number 19MM244, possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. I also find probable cause for that offense, and I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Sir, your bond in 19 CT 558 will be $500, and in 19 MM244, I'm gonna release you on your own recognizance, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I'm good to go? Or release leave?
Sir, your name?
Michael Saravillo.
Sir, this is case number 19MM4329. You were arrested for battery and for assault. I do find probable cause for both of the offenses and will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You also have case number 19MM4330, where you were arrested for disorderly conduct at a public establishment. I also find probable cause for that offense, and I will appoint the public defender. State, is it correct that there's no offer on the 4329?
What's his last name, Your Honor?
Saravello?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Mr. Saravello, at this time, I'm gonna order that you're not to have any contact with the victim, the alleged victim, Brian Eugene. You can't go back to the Pizza Hut at 7060 International Drive. You're not to possess any weapons or any firearms. Your bond on count 1 is gonna be $250. Your bond on count 2 is $250. Can we resolve 19MM4330?
No, Your Honor. State's not gonna make an offer.
All right. At this time, sir, your bond in that case will be $100. Thank you. Good afternoon, your name?
Brian Torres.
Mr. Torres, you're here in case number 19MM4327. You were arrested for possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. I find probable cause and will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. And at this time, I'm going to order pretrial release, sir.
Your Honor, stated no objection to ROR.
Okay, I'm going to order pretrial release. Thank you. Good afternoon, your name?
Tavares Patterson.
Mr. Patterson, this is an out-of-county warrant from Seminole County. Currently, your bond is set at none. You will see a judge when you get to Seminole County, and it's related to a violation of probation, sir. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
McIntyre.
Mr. Tyree, this is case number 19M0993. You were arrested for trespass. I find probable cause. See, is there an offer for Mr. Tyree?
Adjudication 3 days, no return.
Mr. Tyree, did you want to accept that offer?
Yes.
Okay, please sign the plea form. Mr. Tyree, did you read the plea form before you signed it?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights you're giving up?
No.
Are you on probation?
No.
Do you understand if you're not a United States citizen that this plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, I understand.
Have you taken any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand what's happening in court today?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Sir, I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 3 days in the Orange County Jail with credit for 2 days' time served. You'll also have to pay court costs. Those are due by May 22nd of 2020, and you have 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court in writing. All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Wright's case. Then we have Mr. Wright's case. And I was previously told that Mr. Wright is still medical. So he won't be coming to court this afternoon. I can't seem to get on Odyssey at the moment. What's the status of Mr. Wright's 18 MM 8426 case? Will you please, my computer's like, it won't.
Oh, it's 2019 MM?
It's 18 MM 8426.
Pre-trial conference on June the 17th, trial period beginning July the 16th. Division 61.
Okay. So I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office on Mr. Wright's case, in case number,
I don't understand what you're saying.
19 CF 7260. There's probable cause for grand theft of a motor vehicle, intimidation with death or serious bodily harm to law enforcement officer and resisting officer without violence. I'm going to stay the bond as to each count, 2,500, 100, 100. And 18 MM 8426, I'm going to take no action. I think that's everything. Ms. Kennedy Swanson, anything else from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Wynn?
Nothing, Your Honor.
All right, then we'll be in recess.